Not so long ago, electricity changed the way of American life. For many, this newfound wonder was just a light switch away. But while investor-owned utilities were lighting up American cities, the nation's farms and rural communities were getting left behind. You see, though it was changing the world, electricity was seen as just another commodity, a product on the shelf, and like all other products, it always came down to money. The utility company said there simply weren't enough people in the small towns and farming communities to make it worth their investment. But nationwide, a new way of thinking was growing. What if we stopped thinking of electricity as just another commodity? What if we set aside profits and focused on service? What if we worked together to get electric power to everyone, everywhere, anywhere?
Electricity is no longer a luxury. It is a definite necessity. It lights our homes, our places of work, and our streets. It can relieve the drudgery of the housewife and lift the great burden off the shoulders of the hard-working farmer.
In 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt created the Rural Electrification Administration, the REA, to help local co-ops build their own distribution systems. And just like they had always done, the hardy people of rural America rose to the challenge. Across the nation, neighbors stood together and embarked on a mission to bring electricity to themselves and to each other. They didn't do it for profit. They didn't do it for shareholders. They did it for service. They did it because it was the right thing to do. And if people wanted to have electricity in America's small towns and forgotten places, why, they were going to have to do it themselves. Meanwhile, in Lenore, Idaho, a man named Kenneth Summers, who was familiar with the cooperative business model from managing the local grain and seed farmers co-op, petitioned the REA to help establish an electric cooperative in the Clearwater Valley. The REA put him into contact with Mr. R.H. Wallace of Lapway, who had written,
"There is no necessity in meeting with the investor-owned power company, as our experience with them has proven. So as I see it, the only thing for us to do is to take in the whole country."
Louis P. Tietz of Rubens and Joe Tometz, Nez Perce County Extension Agent, organized a countywide meeting for anyone else who had been passed by for electricity. Over the next year, small groups of citizens from neighboring counties met continuously, spreading the word, gathering more and more families and farms, and of course, collecting the REA mandatory $5 membership investment from each new member. What had begun as the work of a few courageous neighbors resulted in an association of over 2,300 farmers and residents from 6 counties in Idaho and Washington. In April of 1937, Clearwater Valley Light and Power Association was officially incorporated. They elected board members representing each district in the territory and adopted the 7 cooperative principles to serve their members and their communities on a nonprofit basis. With the distribution grid officially under construction, the co-op still had to secure enough wholesale electricity to power the system. Washington Water Power agreed to supply the small cooperative with enough wholesale power to get underway. Meanwhile, Grand Coulee and Bonneville dams were nearing completion, and under law, the dams would provide renewable and affordable power, giving preference and priority to public bodies and cooperatives. And finally, at 1:30 p.m. on August 5, 1938, Project Superintendent R.A. Muschlitz gave the order to energize the first lines. The wait was over. The red tape was cut. The vision realized. Electricity had arrived. The cooperative and its members have pulled through times of disaster and times of bounty, through war and peace, through discovery and reflection. It was not so long ago that electricity changed American life. And after 75 years, your member-owned cooperative is still just a light switch away.